With CM Punk possibly hinting at a WWE return and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. With former head of talent relations John Laurinaitis being fired from WWE for his involvement in the Vince McMahon hush money scandal, Jim Ross would say this about him on his podcast. He went out of his way to make sure he stayed in front of Vince all the time. There's not a day went by that I didn't talk to Vince by phone, text, or meetings. But I never went out of my way to say, "Hey Vince, guess what I did today? You'd be so proud of me." Well, first of all, Vince ain't proud of he's just not. It's not a big knock. It's just the way he is. And Laurinaitis played that up. I made decisions without Vince's formal approval. I didn't have to get in a situation where I'm going to have to get everything okayed through the old man. He trusted me. I don't know that Vince ever really, truly trusted Laurinaitis. We've kind of seen how that relationship worked out and evolved. Appearing on the Grew Room show, Stevie Ray talked about a potential feud between Harlem Heat and the Road Warriors that never took place in WCW, saying, "That's my only regret in my whole career wrestling. Why the office didn't see that, we have no idea. Me and Animal talked about it for years, man. You know, and another brother we've lost. God rest his soul. Every time we'd see each other, we'd talk about it. Man, we could have, what kind of money we could have drew." I question the people that were running the office at that time. Recalling his infamous heel turn in WCW and formation of the New World Order, Hulk Hogan spoke about his one regret for that with Ringside Collectibles. "When I see this WCW action figure, it actually is funny to me, because now everybody knows what I was thinking. That has haunted me for over 20 years that I'm going down to the ring, I'm supposed to wrestle, but I was so dumb I didn't even change my boots. The detail freaks would go, oh my gosh, why has he got cowboy boots on?" With Ric Flair previously criticizing Eric Bischoff and calling him arrogant, Conrad Thompson revealed to Wrestling Inc. that this had to do with Bischoff's comments about Flair on ESPN's 30 for 30 documentary. When I asked Eric about it, he didn't remember what he said in the documentary. Rick said on the podcast that Eric said something on the documentary that when he saw it back, pissed him off. And that's not the first time that's happened. When Rick saw 30 for 30, the ESPN documentary from 5 years ago or whatever it was, he was pretty off about that too, was what some folks had to say. And so a few people got some nasty text messages because nobody wants to see or hear or read someone that they know, like, and care about say something that was maybe less than flattering. Speaking on the Allison Rosen is your best friend, AEW Tag Team Champion Anthony Bowens talked about the origins of the catchphrase "Scissor Me Daddy," noting that "I was in the wheelchair at the time. We were in a faction with the Gun Club. Their father used to be Mr. Ass. I branded him Daddy Ass. The sons are the Ass Boys. At least that's how we made fun of them. Since our dynamic was a big brother, little brother thing, we liked each other, kind of. We would always poke fun at them. After Max's rap, I would get the crowd to say, 'Let me hear you say Ass Boys.' I didn't have a close to it. It would always just awkwardly end. Before one of the entrances, before we were about to go live, I was sitting in the wheelchair and I was giggling to myself, what if I screamed, 'Scissor me daddy ass?' It made me laugh. I didn't have time to run it. I wouldn't run it by anybody anyway, even though I probably should. We went out there, did the ass boy thing. I screamed, 'Scissor me daddy ass' at the top of my lungs. He gave me the scissor handshake. We came back. Nobody said anything anything to me. I went on Twitter, saw it was trending. The next week, there were signs for it. I was like, we have to keep doing this every week. That became my clothes, and it turned into this crazy thing that where at first, they didn't want to give us the shirt because they wouldn't clear it. Putting Scissor Me Daddy Ass for Time Warner standards and practices, it's a hard thing to put on a t-shirt apparently, but I kept fighting for it because I knew there was a growing want for it and a growing desire for me to keep yelling it and scissor this wrestling legend every week. It came out, and this is the #1 selling t-shirt of 2022. During the media call for ROH Final Battle, AEW President Tony Khan revealed changed plans for the Ring of Honor Tag Champions. As PW Insider reported on FTR, Khan said that he has a great appreciation for them. Through no fault of their own, they have been involved in shuffling of plans due to talents being injured and not being around. He said CM Punk's injury led to months of stories changing, as an example. He said that tonight is a big night for them. He said that it's been a really hard year for him, and they've been really supportive. They had challenges in their own and are so passionate. They want to wrestle and wrestle hard every week on TV. With them being all over the world, there have been times he's had plans for them that had to change. He said that starting tonight, there will be a lot of Christmas spirit on AEW programming. What they have done this year is remarkable, winning belts in 3 promotions while also having great matches in AEW and still wanting to do more. Khan said that he feels he's got a new lease of life with everything that has gone on, and he's looking forward to tonight and going forward. He said tonight is an important night for AEW with the Acclaimed versus FTR. Speaking about the chance for a Vince McMahon podcast, Conrad Thompson told Wrestling Inc., no, there's no possibility. I mean, what in the world would be his motivation for doing a podcast? He probably took a little bit of time off, and I don't know what he's doing, but he's probably working on creating something. I just can't imagine a guy who we all know, have heard was this giant workaholic, is now just doing nothing. Speaking about her return to the ring against Britt Baker at Ful Gear, Saraya said this about her condition after the match to Bleacher Report. Actually, no, I was really surprised with that. Like, my neck felt absolutely fine in the ring, and it felt fine after, but everything felt very, very sore afterward. I had to take like a 3-day nap, but yeah, I feel 100%, and I can go again. I feel like the more reps I get in, the better it's going to be for me in the long run, because as much as I don't want to deep dive into a billion matches, I definitely need to get the repetition of being in matches again so I can get my wind up. That was my nemesis in the match. I got backstage, and AEW producer and coach Jerry Lynn said, "Oh, your head was down a lot." I was like, yeah, I was blown up. Britt Baker really took care of me too. She really did. Reporting the reason for the disappearance of Miro from AEW television, Fightful said, after Miro's absences, many fans have wondered where he's been. After inquiring with all Elite Wrestling sources, it was reiterated to us that Miro is and has been completely healthy and wanting to actively compete. However, we're told that creative simply hasn't been presented for him. Miro last appeared at AEW All Out, and before that, Forbidden Door. While it looked like he was back to being figured in creatively during the summer, that hasn't been the case, and he's only wrestled 4 matches in all of 2022, all between June 1st and September 4th. We're told that there were plans to have creative conversations, but that those haven't happened as of yet. Those that we've spoken to say that Miro is eager to return to the ring. Touching on her dislocated shoulder from SummerSlam this year, Becky Lynch mentioned that it still does not feel right, telling The Verge. It felt amazing to be out in front of the crowd again, and how electric that was, in such a wild capacity as War Games. That's a match that I've never done before, and it's a very daunting match. You've got 2 rings, you've got a giant cage, and anything goes. Truth be told, my shoulder still isn't feeling right. So to say I was nervous is probably a bit of an understatement, but once you get out there, once you get in front of the crowd, and you feel that energy, then you forget everything else. There's not another feeling like it. During that previously mentioned interview with Wrestling Inc., Conrad Thompson would shoot down rumors of the Nature Boy returning to WWE as an entrant in the Royal Rumble. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's clickbait. Anybody who actually listens to the podcast knows that he said that tongue-in-cheek. Even when he talked about the Rumble, he's like, somebody reported that I'm going to be at the Rumble. I'm not. I'm going to be at the 30th anniversary Raw. I'm going to be in San Antonio. I'm doing a signing for Fitterman. But I'll bring my gear. I'll bring my robe. Hell yeah, I'll be number 30. It's a joke. It's not serious. He's not really going to be in the Rumble, but I know that gets people talking and it gets people buzzing. But the reality is Ric's not going to wrestle again. During the NXT Deadline conference call, Shawn Michaels was asked about William Regal potentially returning to WWE, as he said, with all due respect for William Regal and what it means to NXT and WWE, and of course wrestling at all levels, nothing would thrill me more. I'll give you more information. I would obviously stay tuned, because hopefully we all know a little bit more if we get down the road, but honestly right now, I'm the guy who's been reading from you guys, so that's what we are after for the time being. With Sasha Banks still negotiating with WWE, it seems she could be making an appearance for another promotion, as PW Insider said Mercedes Varnado, aka WWE's Sasha Banks, is expected to be at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 17 event next month, according to several sources close to the situation. While it is unknown whether Varnado will be appearing before the live crowd, we are told that NJPW is bringing Varnado in for the event. With him not having been seen in AEW since his post-All-Out Press Scrum appearance, CM Punk would post a throwback picture on social media from his days in WWE, as Luke Gallows, who was then known as Festus, can be seen on the Titantron in the background. It remains to be seen what is next for Punk, as he could have his contract bought out by AEW. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.